Now, normally when I make my videos, it's on a topic I've had about a week's worth of time to think if I'm really gonna pursue or not. Recently, I've been a bit fascinated with how someone like Sunnyv2 went from being so widely respected and applauded to scoffed and heckled at. Don't get me wrong, we've all made a few mistakes in our career. I've made many. But how do you manage to make so many so consistently after doing just fine for so long? Now, as for Sunnyv2, I don't feel like actually delving into his channel much deeper than I have. I'd just rather cover his goofy-ass mess up as of late. Here it all starts with his video, Why Chris Will Soon Become a Nightmare for Mr. Beast. Ooh, scary. Now off that title alone, what do you think Chris did that'd make him such a nightmare for Mr. Beast? Here, I'll give you 5 seconds. What wild thoughts did your brains come up with? Preying on minors, scamming people, abusing animals? None of the above. All he did was begin presenting more feminine and taking HRT. That's it. A dude changing their body because they're uncomfortable with how it is supposed to be a nightmare for Mr. Beast. I know, it's such a crazy statement to make out loud, isn't it? How is this dude got 3.4 million subscribers and genuinely have people think he is one of the best commentary channels? I can't. It's just, how? But who am I kidding? If I'm being fair, Sunny does try to back up this ridiculous claim in his video, but a lot of this shit is just reaching so goddamn far, I'm surprised he didn't throw out his back. Like, how in the cinnamon toast fuck did you think this video was a good idea? The only way I see it being possible is you're just so terminally online it's beyond saving, but enough with my rambling. Today I'll be dissecting Sunny's video on Chris/Mr. Beast and providing my own thoughts and opinions on the composition of the video and its points aside from all the broad statements I've claimed previously. Personally, this video just feels like it was a rushed cash grab with no real second thought put into it, and it just really shows in the video's quality. The points are weak to non-existent, but talk is cheap, so how about I show you how dumb it really is?
The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end.
Am I the only one that feels it's just a little off to look into someone's personal life and marriage as a way to theorize why they began feminizing themselves for your YouTube video? Like, it feels really invasive and weird? Is it I that requires the reality check? Am I just deluded, or is this not some really weird shit to do? Like, I get Chris did make public statements about his marriage, but I find it just a little weird to make comment on it in a YouTube video about Mr. Beast of all things.
Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for changing genders.
Doubling down on his feminine image? This isn't just some stupid take made by someone on Twitter, it's just a dude trying to find happiness in their own skin. I kinda hope the way you structured that statement was for the sake of dramatization, because other than that, it ain't it. And also, calling a lot of these offhand comments in your video criticism really just doesn't sit right with me. It's just people being mean-spirited for no reason besides being dude look like woman. Don't get me wrong, feel free to make fun of whoever you want. I dabble in that side of the internet quite a bit as well, but don't misinterpret it as criticism. It just isn't.
This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos. Mr. Beast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's suggests that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video.
What? Bro, Chris isn't just some over-the-top LGBT Hollywood character added for the sake of representation. He's just a dude growing in life around his friends. He isn't being added in, he already existed. Why would you even argue this? He's his own person and not everyone views every action as a business transaction, unlike you. Also, you might be bleeding a bit.
On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my
So
views
you're
if
a
I got it.
Keemstar?
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare.
No matter what choice Beast makes, he'll be considered the bad guy? Dude, it's such an easy choice. I can't. His choices are ditch his friend undergoing some major life changes to save his brand for the sake of a few people that'll get mad at a dude for doing female things, or support his friend and push on through this tough time. I don't know. Option 2 looks a lot better as it's not pandering to a demographic that gets mad at a dude wearing nail polish.
However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast videos. If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm.
Okay, look, I'm trying to listen to the point you're attempting to articulate, but damn it, man, you paint this shit so horribly for no other reason than to pull an emotional response from your audience. It's pretty fucking clear which choice Beast is going to take, as 1, he isn't a shit friend, and 2, accepting Chris loses him the least amount in his following, as people being anti-LGBTQ is more in the minority than those who support it. You paint this situation like both choices fuck him over to the same degree, where that's just nowhere near the case, and it's just you stoking the fires of a stupid drama. Bro, you're really reaching hard with this argument. Not even the argument, this entire video. Bro, who did you send this video to and who told you this was a good idea? I need names now.
The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
Bro, you've gotta be kidding me. How do you paint a dude painting his nails and taking estrogen to be so damn terrible? Oh, the humanity. Whatever will MrBeast do? He's going to lose so much money provided by the percent of his target demographic. Oh dear God, look at the losses. This is truly such a nightmare for MrBeast. Chris is such a terrible, arrogant person for pursuing happiness in his life and not taking MrBeast. Alright, take two. Chris is such a terrible, arrogant person for pursuing happiness in his life and not taking MrBeast's brand into account. I just can't. How are you a real person? Once again, this situation is nowhere near as bad as you're framing it. It's just a dude changing to be more feminine. It's really not that deep. It's not some terrible nightmare. It's just a teensy inconvenience at the very most, at least for MrBeast. No, Chris is just getting flamed on Twitter, which, maybe some things are a little fair, but much of it is an overreaction. I mean, MrBeast gets canceled for dumber shit anyways. It's not like having a trans friend is going to ruin everything. Now look, I might be saying something controversial, but I personally don't think Sunnyv2 is a transphobe. I've been seeing that comment flying around a lot on Twitter for the past few days. All Sunny did was make an abysmal video with a business mindset rather than actual morals and common sense. I've heard there's more to back up this transphobe allegation in other videos regarding people who happen to be trans. Maybe I'm wrong, but I really don't think this video is definitive proof Sunny is a transphobe. It's just a video in extremely bad taste. Maybe I'm being being too charitable, and maybe that's a side effect of covering the people that are much more terrible I have on my channel, but that's just simply as I view it. If you want to know how Mr. Beast feels about Sunnyv2's video, well, let's dive into Twitter. On April 13th, I posted this tweet. Then, this new Sunnyv2 video feels really invasive for the wrong reasons. Like, why did you make this? You delved into a man's marriage and shit. It's just really off-putting and unnecessary. To my surprise, Mr. Beast commented under this tweet with the following. Yeah, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare, he's my fucking friend, and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off. Yeah, I was quite surprised, but you heard it from the man directly. Chris isn't his nightmare, he's his friend, and things are completely fine, as everyone expected it was. Overall, this was just a really dumb video on Sunny's part, and he probably should respond and clear the air a bit, cause this shit doesn't look too good regardless. Anyways, this video was more of a relaxed perspective on the whole situation from somebody that got tied into it a bit more than others. If you want to subscribe, I also got my Twitter and Discord server link below if you feel like following me outside of YouTube, but if you don't want to do that, I just appreciate you watching my content. For you regulars who couldn't tell, I feel a little tired. I'll see myself out now.